And we'd now like to bring up the aforementioned Ines Hanrihan to talk about what Washington Tree Fruit Research Commission is up to and what they'd like to announce today. So Ines, please join us.
So good morning, everybody, and good evening for those of you that are on the other side of the globe. I'm Ines Hanrihan. I'm the Executive Director of the Washington Tree Fruit Research Commission, and I'm really glad to be here to join you today. As you all know, Washington State is also a big agricultural state. Just like California, we grow just about 300 crops. But who I'm representing here today is the tree fruit industry. We are the leading producer of tree fruit in the nation, of apples, pears, and cherries, and we're also producing a considerable amount of soft fruit. And I am, as the director of the Tree Fruit Research Commission, representing those growers. The Tree Fruit Research Commission was founded in 1969, over 50 years ago. And those that founded this commission, they actually had a vision. And their vision was they wanted to bring automation to tree fruit orchards. That was their goal 50 years back. And I'm really pleased to see that now finally their vision, the vision of those forefathers that grounded this commission, is maybe coming to bearing in the next couple of years. I want to run you a little bit through some of the history that we have experienced in the Pacific Northwest, especially in the tree fruit industry. One of my predecessors, Dr. Jim McPherson, created the first technology roadmap that we used to guide our actions. It was in the early 2000s. Based on this roadmap and the national coalition that was built around this, we focused on creating better varieties. You have heard this earlier speakers, they alluded to this. It's really important to have varieties and systems that are suitable for automation. If you don't have that, you cannot automate. The second really important thing that Mr. McPherson realized and that he made part of the roadmap is that maybe you need to first take some smaller steps and bring some mechanical help into the orchard, and that it's not just about doing the picking robot first, but maybe also doing some smaller steps in between. As a result of this, we are now basically universally using self-driving platforms in our orchards. So those two examples are very important steps that also highlight how important it is to have a plan, to have a roadmap, just like what we are trying to do now with this initiative. Now, fast forward, 10 years ago, we started to collaborate with some public-private partnerships, and you saw one of that partnership with FF Robotics, because most of the cost, the labor cost related to running an operation in our neck of the woods is in harvest, in the actual picking. For example, we have 13 billion pieces, single pieces of apples that have to be picked every year. It's a motion, a very specific motion. And if you put all the apples together, they can circumvent the globe multiple times. Now, what we did is we tried to develop these public-private partnerships because we felt this was very important to have not just universities involved, but to have a commercial driver in the system. Because ultimately our goal was we wanted to create a solution, the solution of automating the picking of fruit by having a solution that works for all the growers, works for small growers, for big growers, for organic growers, works across irrigated perennial crops ultimately. And it needs to be a solution that is ultimately driven by the economics of farming, and several of you also alluded to this. It is really, really important to create solutions that are sustaining the farms and that keep them profitable. So otherwise, we do not have a solution ultimately. And for this reason, we are really, really pleased to join the Western Growers Harvest Automation Initiative, because we feel like we need to still reach this next step. The next step would be the full implementation of harvest automation into our cropping systems and in the 20 top cropping systems of specialty crops here in America and in the world. We have done really well creating vision systems, creating chassis, creating transport systems and arms, and some sort of containers to store the fruit or to keep the fruit. But what we're really still lacking in all of the equipment is the integration, the seamless integration. And what we're still lacking is having a tech stack that can work and that will ultimately make the technology cheaper. So I'm going to announce today that the Washington Tree Fruit Research Commission has decided to support this initiative by giving $200,000 over the next 3 years to hopefully help us get there. And I want to close by saying that the mission of the Tree Fruit Research Commission is to provide, to use science to provide solutions that keep farms profitable and sustainable. And I believe this is a mission that we can all agree on and that pertains to all specialty crop producers. So I am really proud to be able to say that we are joining your initiative, and I am really convinced that together we can get there. Thank you.